Just hello. Hey out there, Stockton, California. Alright, everything's working. Cool. Got the music, got the mics. We're going to check in here. This is the Yellow Dot Spotlight Show, Friday edition. Or any edition, doesn't matter what day. So here we are at Stockton, the media center here at kxvs.org. So check out the site there. A lot of great content, a lot of things happening here in Stockton. This is a media center here that we all like to pitch in and share all things from arts to food to political and anything else we can throw in here. So let me get a check on these microphones. Let me shut the music off. Anyways, the opening music there is Yellow Dot music. Hey, kind of the perks of the show. Yay. So, all right, let me turn that down. Let's do a mic check. Hello, is everybody there? Are you there?
Hello.
Hey, check.
All right, cool. Hey, it seems to be working. All right. So today's edition, we have the Stockton Civic Theater here with Dead Man's Cell Phone. What an exciting play there. So let me get to some questions here in a minute. So I just want to thank Ava Simpson for help putting this show together. Hey, Ava. Hey, thanks so much. And it's always good to check out the crew and everything. And so here we have Melissa, Dennis, and Sabrina, the new one. Right, I haven't met you yet, but I did get to see you act and perform. And I was going to bring some bubbly today, but the station might have said that. The station might have said, well, no drinking on the job there. So we'll get to that part of your show and stuff like that. And so real quick, I'd like to talk to Dennis about the show, how you came across this, and we'll talk a little bit about the Dead Man's Cell Phone and some of the stuff that I got to see. Melissa doesn't need no stunt woman. She does her own acting of stunt woman work, right?
Whatever you want to call it, yeah.
I'm trying to spit it out myself.
That's right.
Right. And then so you're new too to the as I was studying you're kind of new to the SCT?
Yep, and this is my first show.
Your first show, lucky, cool.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get to all of this information and stuff and share what's happening. And so right back to Dennis, sorry for that. So what brings you to bring this show here to Stockton?
I've liked the show for a long time. When I was teaching college, it was a show that I taught. Sarah Rule is kind of a fantastic hot playwright right now. And this is one of her more accessible shows, I think. It's real, it's immediate, and it's about things that we care about now, and I think it's very relatable. And she's just funny. It was. And it's pretty current. I mean, everything was really current, up to date. I mean, for the stuff that I was seeing and everything like that. Yeah, very current and very. Some of it's real dry and subtle. I mean, some of the jokes that she puts in there, like, Jean, her old job was working in the office at the Holocaust Museum. It's just, it's so subtle, but it's
But I love that kind of humor. My favorite, like
Yeah.
Monty Python and stuff. It's very dry cut, but you got to catch them because they're quick.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of stuff is really quick.
But yeah, I just always liked the play. I read it when it first came out, and I teach it. I'd never seen it, actually. So I taught it kind of as an academic exercise, you know, with my classes.
Well, how fun. So it comes kind of like full circle for you then.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of started with that, and then you do teach it, but then now you get to see the play and be involved with it and direct it and everything like that.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, it's a very popular play. It's hit all of the regional theaters throughout the country. It did well when in its original production. So, and it's got a great title. So, you know, we knew it would be something that people at SCT would like.
Yeah, and not knowing going into it, it was very exciting to watch the story unfold and everything like that as we get into the story pretty soon. And so, as you said at the original play, so do you guys put your own kind of little twists in there to accommodate what you guys are doing currently in our area, so to say? Or, I mean, how do you kind of approach that?
Well, I mean, the way I approach things is I want to tell the story. And the way we find to tell the story, you know, for this show, it seemed very appropriate to use a lot of projection because the show's about technology. So it just felt right that instead of having fully realized sets, it felt right that we would use projections, and the projections would be a little bit bigger than reality because the show is kind of bigger than reality. And I don't know what I'm even talking about at this point.
No, that's cool. No, definitely. No, it is. It can be. Because one of the things I noticed that when you guys ever use their cell phones, you know, I don't want to give too much away that people haven't seen it, but incorporating that stuff, when everybody was moving stuff, you can see the lights, the cell phone, and you can kind of almost picture subways or stuff like that. That's all you see is cell phones. And so as we start learning the story through the interview here, you know, we are constantly on our cell phones 24 hours.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point. And, you know, is it good, bad, or ugly that we, you know, are always on our cell phone? And I'm sure you've all been out at the grocery store or whatever, and you watch the person and they can't get off the phone to pay at the register or whatever, you know?
Right.
So it's almost like it's attached at this point.
Right. So one of the themes that I got was we're on 24/7, right? We're always on call 24/7, and we don't want to miss that call because sometimes we do need a breather.
Right.
But one of the things I caught on is like we don't stop to breathe, you know? I might miss that event or miss what's happening and stuff. So it's kind of neat. I don't know. Should we have them implanted? Are we there yet? Should we just have them implanted? Just
I'm thinking
stick them on the side of us.
I
know.
hope
That's a whole other futuristic story on there
Yeah.
and stuff. And so, real quick, we'll get back with some of the story and stuff like that. And I actually have a question for you, Dennis. So, as the story started, she's really the lady, the character is really into. She just picks up this dead man's cell phone. And so, do most people do that? I don't know.
Well, I think that's kind of our bigger than life moment, where you have this character who is just that bold. I mean, I can't imagine a situation in which I would pick up somebody else's cell phone.
Well, it was very interesting because sometimes you might want to pick it up to help emergency, but she really took it on to a whole nother level.
Right.
She started answering the people's messages, and I thought, wow, this is pretty interesting. That's a whole branch of things happening that's out of her control, but then she's trying to control it.
Yeah, and it's funny. The first pickup is... I think that's the biggest stretch to reality, right? Like when she first picks up the phone, but actually it makes perfect sense that once she's answered it once that she would continue because now she's got to feel some kind of ownership over the thing. And so it does make sense that, oh, well, I guess now it's mine. Now I'm responsible for it. And she has the line, when something rings, you have to answer it, don't you?
Yeah, and that, yeah. No.
It's like over the years we're just tuned to that ring, and then maybe somebody else's phone rings, but then I'm like looking over to, was that my phone? You know, get your own signalful ring. So Melissa, what is your take on this story? Like what'd you kind of pull out of this from having cell phones and?
Well, I'm of the generation that's coming into all of this, where my kids, you know, they grew up with, now cell phones are a part of their life. So I understand that part of it is do you always have to answer your cell phone when it rings? And I've had to get into the habit of, people will say, well, I sent you a text. Oh, okay. Like, I have to make sure that I always check my phone. And that's a hard thing because I don't always want to be there, like Jenny says. You know, I don't need to always have it 24/7. So that's something I'm having to learn. And I think that for a lot of people that come see the show, the older generation, they can relate to that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and it's pretty interesting how we got to have the cell phone. So that this story really helps out, like you said, the different generations in between. Some are used to it, and it's like, you know, it's just an everyday thing. But a lot of it's like, even me, I'm caught in between both worlds. You know, sometimes, what is the time limit to return somebody somebody doesn't go, hey, I know you're right there, but how come? It's like, can I just have 2 minutes, please? I love you.
Yeah.
But I just need a couple minutes. You know?
Well, I had somebody email me the other day. You know, of course, it's connected to the phone, I guess. But they emailed me, and I didn't respond. I think it was like 22 hours later. And then I get another email. Did you get my email? Your delayed responses are killing me. I was like, my delayed response? It hasn't even been 24 hours.
Wow.
You know, I guess you're supposed to answer at 1 a.m. or whatever at this point.
Sometimes it's tough. You know, you're doing things and you want to accommodate people, but yeah, if we just all give ourselves a little bit of breathing room, we'll get back to you. You know.
Yeah.
And stuff. So with the story, again, she finds a dead man in a cafe, and his cell phone just keeps ringing and ringing and ringing. And so again, as we're talking, she picks it up, and she takes on an adventure of trying to please the people that doesn't know he passed away yet. And she's trying to help out all these family members, where she starts integrating with some of the family members. The mother comes in, and I think his brother comes in. And from there, God, it's so interesting. I'm trying to remember everything from
his wife.
And his wife, that's right.
His wife.
And so there's some twist to this that I didn't even expect, you know. I don't want to give too much away because the stuff is still going. So there's some twist. So it's really exciting what he does for a living.
Yeah.
So that's
Waste management.
Waste management. That's right. That's what we call it.
In quotes.
So
Yeah.
And so Melissa, real quick, you don't have your own stunt double.
No, I don't.
So,
no, I don't.
No stunt double.
No, we had Dennis brought in a friend of his who is a choreographer for fighting, and she literally took us step by step on how to do it and make sure that we were safe and do
it looked real.
Well, good. I'm glad it looked real,
was.
because we worked a lot on that, and yeah, it's fun. It's very fast, but it's fun. It's
That's the first thing I thought. I was like, no stunt double. Wow.
Yeah.
She's really like engaging.
Yeah, Jenny and I have
wrestling.
lots of bruises, but we're
Lots of
good.
bruises.
We're good. No injuries yet. Yeah.
Yeah, Sydney Schwint is
That's it, Sydney.
is our fight choreographer, and she's excellent.
Yeah, she did a great job.
She did a great job. No,
Yeah.
it was cool. It was fun to watch and stuff. And so, can you explain a little bit about your character, how she comes involved? Because is she like helping? Well, she wants part of the information.
I think I'm Gordon's second in command, and I really want Gordon's job. So when I find out certain things,
Yes.
I need that cell phone, because
Very important.
That cell phone's very important. And I don't want to give too much away, but that's one of my characters.
You're right. And there's a couple that you do, which is fascinating. You change
Yeah,
so
they're
quick.
they're very small, but that's okay. Yeah, so we don't want to give too much away. But
Right, but you put a big impact. Great
I don't know
actress.
about that,
Well,
but okay, we'll take that. But it's fun, and Carlotta is got a lot of larceny in her soul, and she's devious, and then you have to come to see the show to find out how it all wraps up. That's
For
all
sure.
I'll say about that.
But I think it's interesting how the cell phone is important to the different characters for different reasons.
Yes. Yeah.
Like for you, it's a business thing that's very important. For Jean, it's like this connection to Gordon and to all of us. Like, she connects to all of us through this phone, and so I think that's kind of commentary on all of us. You know, we have our phone, and it's so much a part of the business aspect of our life. We do all of our business, you know, like checking emails and responding to people, and then we also connect to our loved ones, you know, through the phone too.
Well, and
That's a good point.
It's interesting how they talk about how the cell phone is basically keeping Gordon alive at a certain point, right?
Right, yeah.
When people stop calling him, then he'll really be gone.
I thought, yeah, when they did say that concept, that was very interesting. He is staying alive because people are still wanting to call him, and she's advocating for him. Like, how can I help you? And so as she's answering all these different phone calls, she's really, God, little, I don't know how to word it, but she's trying to comfort them in the best way that she can.
Yeah.
And towards the end, when she actually meets Gordon, she reverses the way her approach is to telling people what has happened. And I found that interesting that she actually was truthful when she met Gordon in the afterlife.
Right.
Well, it's sort of like on all of our online profiles, we have this version of ourselves.
Oh, good point.
That seems really amazing, and then sometimes when you get to know that person, in real life, then you realize that your, illusions that you had about them are
The persona, right?
yeah, incorrect. So,
And that could be good or bad too, yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty interesting how that came about. As that was really good that she got to meet him in the afterlife. I am jumping ahead, but I thought she died. I was like, oh no, that she didn't. She just got to meet him and talk a little bit. So that was kind of a neat little area of part of that. It helped explain a little bit more to me as they were engaging.
And I think that's what's neat about Sarah Rule is she's got a commentary about what her perception of maybe the afterlife is, as opposed to what's going on planet Earth when you're alive. I mean, it's just she makes some really bold statements about some things, and
right,
it's great.
And it's great that she doesn't feel the need to be 100% realistic. That we can go to heaven or hell or purgatory or wherever this afterlife place is, and it makes perfect sense in the world of the play, and then we can come right back and of course it makes sense.
It does, and it was really cool to see the two sides of the world, that you can see his perspective, because he really wanted that lobster bisque. He really wanted it. I was like, man, I felt bad. I was like, almost wanted to go buy one and bring it up to him. So that was really cool. And so just kind of jumping around in the story, but everybody go out there and see it. It's pretty amazing. And so during the church segment of the play, is it Peggy?
Peggy.
Peggy, a veteran there, as I was reading up on her. Man, she's pretty vocal and pretty adult language, which was awesome because it really gave into the play. And so even places at churches, like you're saying, at grocery stores and odd places, bring. Yeah. You just hear this phone call and and the mom is just trying to give this heartbreaking eulogy, and the cell phone just keeps going.
Goes off.
And I think a couple of times last weekend and opening weekend, during certain scenes, somebody's cell phone.
Last night, I think.
Was it last night too? And the opening weekend, you would hear this little. I'm like, okay, you obviously didn't pay attention during
She
the
already
church
told
scene,
everybody to
right?
turn off their
Yeah.
effing phones. So.
Now, real quick, I was just kind of wondering. Now, was it meant that her character was in the audience, and it was his phone that was calling in the church, or was it?
Yeah, I mean, she joined for that moment. The audience became the the mourners at the funeral.
Yeah.
Congregation.
Yeah.
Because that's how the character met the family.
Through the phone,
right, through the phone. My question was, did she go to the eulogy also to meet the family?
Yeah, I think so. I
thought it was kind of funny that the mom is yelling at this lady that, please stop ringing your phone, and it's the son's phone that keeps ringing.
Yeah, it is.
So it's like this
right
kind of cool conundrum / whoa.
Yeah, and I actually don't think Jean, the character, went to go meet the family, but she went to go be part of mourning for this guy.
Just in general.
Because it's later that she gets the phone call and goes, oh, I guess I should go to I should go meet Mom. And all the other crazies at dinner.
And so Sabrina, that's when you start coming in a little bit, if not before. But so you're the wife of Gordon.
Right.
Right. And so your character is really awesome. I really enjoyed some of those scenes. The cafe scene. Again, I was teasing you earlier in the little wine scene there. Right? That was cool.
Yeah, that scene gets pretty crazy.
Yeah, good acting. And so going into this role, what was your take on reading the character?
Well, there's so many layers. I feel like I still every night am like finding new information about this character, but
nice.
She's filled with a lot of guilt, which I imagine is something that someone who loses a spouse, especially if they are not on good terms when that happens. And so she has all this guilt, but it's ironic because her husband was the one that should have felt guilty.
You're right, for his job, which we're going to keep as the twist.
Yeah,
so
right.
for his job, definitely.
And because of other issues within their marriage. So, but she's kind of carrying this guilt, and she's looking for closure or like some sort of resolve that, it's when anybody, dies, just like out of nowhere, I assume that, family members are left with this feeling of like, wow, I never got to, have that conversation or say I was sorry or, be truthful about something. So she's sort of dealing with all of those emotions. And up until the point in the bar, she's been this very uptight, like closed person. She's dealt with all of the issues within their marriage by just kind of being cold and distant from her husband. And so I think at this point in the restaurant or in the bar, she's just kind of like letting go, and just, it's like word vomit, like everything she's been feeling and thinking is coming out. And to Jean, who's this stranger who just has showed up in her life, it's actually the same day as like when that dinner happened, when she came. So at the funeral, this is one day, the funeral, the family dinner, and then later at night in the bar scene with Jean and Hermia. So it's really interesting how it all unfolds in a very short period of time.
Yeah, it's just kind of a nice day of what's happening, of this dead man's cell phone, of what kind of conspires of reactions of somebody else's actions, stuff like that. So part of the guilt of your character wanting to let go, in the story, I found out that she kind of knew the whole time. And the husband didn't think she knew what his job was. And so that was really interesting that you put that in perspective now, because as I'm thinking, she was trying to let go of, like, maybe she could move on with her life and kind of end that chapter.
And Jean really helps her with that.
Yeah, she's like this tiny little angel just kind of running around
Yeah,
trying to mend things.
true.
And for some reason, she had this energy to do that right when she answered the phone.
And she does that with everybody. Every character she seems to, like, find resolve with. I mean, she helps Hermia and
she's totally lying the whole time.
the whole time,
Doing
yeah.
it.
And like her mind is so quick that she just instantly knows, because she's listening to everybody, how to make. Okay, I know how to make you feel better. I know how to make you feel better, and what mom needs to hear in order to make her happy. I mean, that's a great commentary on life. Yeah.
And then there's commentary on truth too.
Yes.
The moral, the morality.
If you're lying to make someone feel better, is that as bad as if you're lying for another reason?
Like Gordon.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
So there's so many stories within the story. So what is the fine line of the lie that is for the good versus the bad? And that's another question that kind of pondered up.
Yeah. How do you find it? And
how do you
justify it?
Justify it, and for your own self-worth, that you can feel good living on. Because Gordon, he was happy. He just wanted his lobster bisque, and he was just like, this last meal, I just want my lobster bisque. And speaking to Martin real quick afterwards, I was gonna tease him here. I was gonna bring him some lobster bisque, but he actually told me he prefers lentil soup.
Yeah,
he really likes lentil soup too. Nice and hearty, Yeah. So right on, Martin. You rock, man. So real quick, I just want to. So Martin's character, a great gasp when you do go into the afterlife. I didn't expect him just to just come up real quick and kind of, because you're kind of watching him. Well, what's he's in there. He's in his chair. He died. Boom.
Yeah.
It was like just it was kind of shocking. Not shocking, but it was really nice to be surprised that way. And his acting is really cool. Yeah, man.
Yeah, there's lots of surprises in the script, and that's another reason, why we wanted to do this play, because it's always not boring. There's always something that makes total sense in the world of the play, but also is unexpected and fun, or thought provoking.
Yeah,
That's the best part. And I've heard so many audience members say, like, "Wow, I have like all these thoughts running through my mind now. And I think that's what's really cool about Sarah Rule is she's not like, this is my opinion and I want to like shove it down your throats. It's like, here's all of these different ideas. What do you think about it? And so I think people leave like thinking, and I'm listening backstage to, you know, the other characters on stage, and I'm still hearing new lines of like, oh my gosh, that could mean this or that. And it's really cool. I mean, you definitely could even see the show, you know, more than once.
Yeah.
You should actually.
You should,
come
yeah.
see it more than once.
Yeah, and you have to listen. You have to pay attention in the show. It's you can't.
Because there's a lot of twists.
There's a lot of information
twists.
coming at you.
And there's a lot of food for thought,
Yeah.
which is awesome. It really gets you thinking, like after the show, you
Yeah.
know, like Sabrina was saying. Sorry, Melissa. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, okay, sorry.
Well, yeah, and the information comes so fast that first act feels like you blink and it's over.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, it's over now. And it's a regular sized first act. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a little short, but boy, it flies by.
It does, yeah.
It was really
yeah.
cool. And some of it layers, like some stuff happens so you can catch what's happening, or it sets itself up. And so she does find the love of her life, but she kind of a little confused there for a minute, but then she realized towards the end that who takes care of her, or if I got that right, because it did end up at the end. The brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Help me with names.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Dwight.
Dwight, there, thanks, right. And so what was kind of the lesson there that you guys might take on, that she went through this huge journey, just surprised out of nowhere. She's kind of going through this journey, meeting family, people, going out of country. Not knowing where we're going. I like to touch back on that because that was really cool. So, what are your thoughts of her journey that towards the end, she was really thankful that she got to come back to life. She just got hurt really bad, and it made her think a little bit differently, sort of.
Yeah.
That was my impression a little bit.
Well, if you notice, it's kind of like after she decides to get rid of the cell phone, that stuff kind of falls into place for her. So maybe that's some commentary on that. Take a. She actually. I don't want to give too much away, but so there's that. I think she just decides to be more present with Dwight and realizes that, you know, she's been chasing this dead man when this great guy was like right in front of her the whole time, right? Yeah.
Oh man, that's a good lesson. That's right, because sometimes you can't. There's things right in front of you to appreciate instead of chasing something that, you know, might not go nowhere. That isn't real. Very good. Yeah, that isn't real at all.
Well, and what's interesting about their relationship too is that neither one of them are perfect human beings, and you can find reasons why you wouldn't choose that person to be your, you know, the love of your life, but also they're perfect for each other. So there's kind of that commentary going on too, is that you can kind of find your person wherever, and it's not necessarily what you expect, or
Right.
or the perfect person in somebody else's eyes.
Right. But it's perfect for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a little bit similar, but similar things, but they have different ways of going about it.
Yeah.
Perspectives, I would say, because Gordon and Gene, they were doing almost the same thing, but in different perspectives.
Yeah, and Gordon brings it up with the lie.
Right.
You tell lies to make people feel better. I tell lies to make people feel better.
But yeah.
You know?
And it was interesting how they both told lies in different ways in life to make people feel better. So it's kind of a weird thought. I mean, we're taught not to lie, but I mean, to make people feel better, is that acceptable?
And the value that we place on those lies, like as opposed to were Martin's lies good or bad? I mean, he thinks they're good, but they're quite deceptive in some ways. So it's it's that value that we place on it, and it's interesting.
Well, and there's no. She's making comments on morality, but I don't think she's telling us what to think.
Oh, right, exactly. Yeah.
Because when you study his job, as you go down the line, some of those people, gosh, they might need what he's offering, but the way it goes about, and then if you have morals issues, that might go into play. But I have my donor sticker on my license, so hopefully, I don't know, my organs will be good. Oh no.
Spoiler.
And he gets
I know. They didn't catch that right.
It's okay.
He gets extremely rich over this.
Right. That's the thing. It's like he's making a lot of money.
which is like
But does that make it worse? I mean, that's the question. Because it has economic value, does that mean it's less altruistic? Or
Well, that's the question. So you need to come see the show
That's
and
right.
make that decision for yourself.
And we need to weigh in on everybody's opinion. So when you see this interview, come back and comment on that, or even go to the SCT site and comment on there about your thoughts of this show, because it's nice to engage with what's happening
we
and
have
some of these
tons
current
Facebook
issues.
posts
Yeah.
And the Facebook area, yeah, definitely.
that
And
you
it's
can comment on for sure.
nice things. So how did the thoughts come up with some of the props? Again, I'm going to go back to my favorite thing is that when things are being moved and everybody's still in their character, but everybody had the cell phones. Now one of the greatest, like the lights were just moving around and it kind of played in with the play and stuff like that. And
the idea just came out of the fact that we're always attached to our cell phones, so we should always be attached. And so that's why we did it, because why would you put your cell phone away just to move the chair?
right on. That's right. Got one hand still. You still got one hand to move.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah, that's fun.
And the our crew is great, and the cast too. I guess everybody moves something, but I did have to say, well, we're going to need a few more crew members than we normally would, because they're only going to be able to use one hand at a time.
Right.
And they jumped right in, and they
That's like in production, almost towards the end. Wait a minute.
yeah.
We didn't think this all the way through. I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, that was an idea from the beginning, so thankfully we got to plan for that one.
Definitely. Oh man, that's cool. And so, gosh, I'm just going through the play in my head here, and it's always so cool to go down there. It's such an awesome venue, and all the actors and actresses. It's so real. I mean, of course it's real, duh. But I mean the way the vocals and stuff. I mean, there's nothing like a live show. That's what I'm trying to get to. There's nothing like a live show of seeing artists doing what they do, and you're so involved in it. And it's so good to meet you and start catching up and seeing you and stuff like that.
Thank you.
And this is going to be really awesome.
She'll be back.
She'll be
She'll
back.
All right, so I'm just going to go over the cast real quick, and because a few past times I didn't do that, so I want to do that. So we had Jenny Key. So Gene and Jenny, hey, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
Right? Then we had Gordon, that's Martin Lehman, and then Dwight is Brent Dirksen. Hermania is Hugh, Sabrina, and then Miss Harriet is Peggy, and then the other woman and stranger is Melissa. Double roles. She don't need no stunt doubles. Go check it out, man. She's kicking some butt.
You're too kind.
And then the ensemble, we have Nick and then Aaliyah. Some new
Yeah.
characters that were coming on,
Yeah.
and I was kind of watching her and
Yeah.
Can you hear her talk a little bit when everybody came? Oh yeah, sorry. One of the greatest. The whole show is great, but one of the funnest parts was when everybody started coming up, and you get that sound that you really can't hear anybody, but you can hear everybody. It's like this mumble. But then so I started focusing on everybody's little conversation. Man, that was pretty fun. That was really fun to hear and to try to.
Well, and
bring all that
everybody's
in.
having a very specific conversation. So it's not, they're not just mumbling into their phones. They're
Yeah.
all having conversations.
Definitely. I was trying to listen to the butcher guy, what he was talking about.
Yeah.
He was up there, he
meat?
sat down. Right. Where's my meat? Right. So it was really weird that when everybody started coming up and started talking at the same time, like they do in subways or malls, yeah, you start trying to focus on one conversation, but you couldn't. But then you hear all these things, and so maybe sometimes, gosh, I'm thankful to live in the valley that we do, but gosh, some of those bigger cities, it could be almost lonely. And it was really awesome that you put words in the back screen to really help decipher a little bit of the brain what's trying to comprehend at that moment.
Well, I love Dennis's idea with that whole scene too of it started with the idea of when you're out in public and you hear conversations and people are having sometimes very private, intimate conversations, but it's out loud, and you're as a passerby are hearing this intense part of someone else's life that you don't know at all, and so that's kind of where it started, and it just kind of grew from there.
Well, it's funny because I lived in New York for a little while, and some of the things that you would hear that, people are so crammed together a lot of the time is they forget that other people are around because you have to. And I heard things like, take my ring and throw it off the bridge. Or
Which bridge? I'm gonna catch
one
it.
of the favorite things I've overheard of a conversation was a guy said, I assume to his girlfriend, or ex-girlfriend maybe at this point, why does my life have to change just because you got pregnant?
Well, all right.
Let me explain a few
Yeah,
things.
That's when you might want to turn around and go, okay.
Yeah.
Let me help you out with that one. So that's funny stuff. I mean, there's so many little stories that I'm sure we've heard that it just kind of cracks us up. And you're going, really? Man, that's pretty vocal, because I'm not really a private guy, but that's something I wouldn't, you don't vocalize your kind of life and stuff out there too much. But again, Melissa, we're entering a new age. I'm stuck in the middle.
I know, me too.
I'm halfway.
Yeah.
I'm like, where's the payphones?
Oh, good. So, all right, there's someone else on the team. Good.
That's
I'm glad.
right.
I always love when. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, when people have like the loudspeaker on in their car because they have like the Bluetooth and they're driving, and
Oh
so you
my
can hear
God.
both sides of the conversation.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Really loud, just driving by, and like, wow.
Oh, yeah. I want a dozen eggs, not 6 eggs. Whatever the conversation is. I know. So, yeah, I missed the telephone booth because that's when I used to change into the super suit and then switch back out and see what's going on in the world.
Right, you had to change professions after
Change
they went
professions.
away.
Turn my hat around. Anyways, so how exciting. And then, of course, we can find all information on Facebook, Stockton Civic Theater, and their own website and everything like that. And so we got another week or two running of the show.
Yep, we have. We're playing tonight, tomorrow night, and Sunday afternoon, and then next weekend, Thursday, Friday, and 2 shows on Saturday. We decided not to have a show on Mother's Day, so we moved the show. So there's a 1:00 show and a 7:30 show.
Oh, good. We don't get
next
to miss a
Saturday.
show. Just double up on a day.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And so, gosh, this was a good play. I love the twists. And again, people go out there and check out all the twists. We didn't spoil everything, so you didn't hear that spoiler. I don't know what we're talking about.
No.
I don't know. So anyways, but yeah, check it out. And so, anything else coming up with individually? What's happening with you coming up this summer?
Nothing.
Or nothing?
Nothing.
We'll find
Not
you. We're going to
nothing.
find something.
Well, my daughter's getting married, but that's like,
Maddie?
I'm busy.
Yes,
but yeah.
Maddie.
Yeah.
And she's putting together an exhibit for SCT at the Hagen Museum.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the first
Cool.
10 years of Stockton Civic Theater. So that'll be coming up in July. So, yeah, I guess there is stuff going on.
Yeah,
There we
I
go.
guess you're busy.
We'll find out. I'll be
Okay, yeah.
checking in with you and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was really good information real quick. So Hagen Museum in July,
In July.
there'll be
The first 10 years of Stockton Civic Theater. I have no idea what it's going to look like, and not sure about the big opening date, but that's what we're working on.
Ah, cool. Well, I'll
Yeah.
be surprised with you.
Yeah.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
How fun. Right. That's cool.
And then Sabrina's got her show
I'm
coming up,
directing Alice in Wonderland in Lodi with Changing Faces Theater Company, and
Oh, wow.
I'm teaching a couple other kids classes. So yeah, getting the kids involved in theater and stuff.
All right. We'll be
Fun.
looking out for you, too. Alice in Wonderland. I'm definitely going to see that one.
And Dennis.
And Dennis.
We're in rehearsal for Company. Jim Coleman's directing, and we've got a great cast. Company opens in the middle of June, and right after that opens, we're going to have auditions for Hair that I'm directing in the fall. So,
Wow, how fun. That's
yeah,
going to be pretty cool. That's an interesting project. That's
yeah, we'll
like-
have to come back
Yeah.
during that one.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have a good show for that one. We'll deck this place up.
Yeah,
Get some disco balls and everything.
But yeah, we're excited. All of the projects since I've been here have been really fun and exciting, and that the train's still going. Each new project is another reason to get excited. So
Definitely. And what's great entertainment that we have here in local Stockton. And we're so
Yeah.
blessed to have everybody here because it really is so engaging. You really engage in the audience and no fear. Man, it's amazing. You know what? I'm sure once you get into character, you just roll with it. But again, Melissa doesn't need no stunt woman.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. I'm just teasing you. So don't forget to go see the action and all the twists that we have here for the Dead Man's Cell Phone are really, really interesting. It was really exciting. I've never seen the play or heard of it, and when I got to go see it, man, always a fan of theater and the story. Again, the twists. Everybody got to check out the twists and your comments. Come check it out. Relay it back to us, to their site, our site. It's all
Thanks
good.
for having us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
It's
thank
a
you.
fun.
this is always fun.
It is always fun.
It is. This is great and fun. I always love joking around and having fun with y'all. So until next time.
All right.
Thank
All
you
right.
very
We'll see you
much.
soon. And everybody have fun this summer. And we'll be catching up with everybody. And there we go. Yellow Dot Spotlight Show. We're around. Check it out. Okay. Let me see if we get this running. Okay. We're going to be going. All right. Bye-bye. Let's see what. Oh, yeah. Bye-bye.
History of YMCA and how long it's been in our community.
I'll start and then everybody can plug in. But the YMCA in Stockton County, we've been here since for over 160 years.
Wow.
So hearing that, I know it's a shock for a lot of people. But what we've been doing is offering programs for the community, not turning anybody away.